I was thinking the same thing. It's like it goes too fast. That's one of my favorite intros.
Yeah, it is too, but it's fast.
It just goes too fast. So
right.
I don't like long intros, but I like that one. So I got to compromise. Hi, Sandy.
Hello, Mark. How are you today?
I'm well, here's my normal response. Every now and then, it's kind of hard to tell, but I'm still alive and well. So
blessed and highly favored. That's what we are.
Okay. Well, I'm going with that. So to tell everybody what the show is, this is a show where Sandy and I are so busy that we never get to talk or communicate stuff. So what we decided to do was set apart an hour and a half every week where Sandy and I can come on and talk about things that are on our mind and communicate and enjoy each other's company and all that kind of stuff. So when did we did this about, oh my gosh, it was like January 17 we started doing
That's right.
We just needed some time, and since we don't have time to do it any other time, we just set that time, and so here we are. So anything could come up, anything could happen, we could talk about anything. So Sandy, what's on your mind?
The list of today's activities and tomorrow's and the rest of the week.
Oh yeah, that's right. Well,
I have a question for you that is not on my mind, but I'm looking at some different things. What's the weirdest story of what is the dumbest reason for somebody being put in jail?
Dumbest reason for somebody being,
because I've got one here that I can't believe.
Okay, give me a second though.
A Dutch man was sentenced to 20 months in jail for burping on the air.
On air.
And $1,900 in payback.
Did the FCC get him or something?
He did it on a police radio and he burped.
A police radio.
Yeah, he took control of the police radio frequency somehow.
Oh.
And he belched over the airwaves. But I'm sorry, guys. Really? There's people doing things out there that that there needs to be intervention. I'm going to fill a cell up and then spend money over somebody burping. Give me a break. It doesn't matter, rape, murder, stealing, mob kind of crime. We can go on and on the list. Those don't matter. But if you burp on the airwaves, you're going to jail. Dumb.
Yeah.
Okay, that's my thoughts on
it. I have a similar news story here that I can try. I've tried to share these before, and sometimes it goes so slow, the bandwidth, and I got good bandwidth. I don't know why this is, but did you hear about the New York DA that got pulled over for doing a 55 and a 35?
No.
Okay, well, let's take a look at this. I'm hoping it's going to play.
The local New York district attorney under fire this morning for her behavior after being pulled over for speeding. Police body camera footage shows her yelling at the officer. DeMarco Morgan is here with this story. DeMarco, this is a talker.
Everybody was talking about it over the weekend, Lindsley. This story sparking the debate on privilege when it comes to position and who you know. Well, the officer in charge today wasn't having it.
I'm the DA. I was going 55 coming home from work.
55 and a 35.
I don't really care.
This morning, New York's governor seeking a state investigation into a local district attorney's conduct after this traffic stop.
Get out of my house.
Sandra Dorley is under fire after police body Cam footage shows her tense interaction with a police officer after refusing to pull over.
Can you stay over here, ma'am? This is a legal traffic stop.
The video, obtained by local ABC affiliate WHAM, captured the moment Monroe County DA Sandra Dorley, whose jurisdiction includes Rochester, New York, arrived inside her home garage after officers tried to pull her over for speeding.
Phillips Road.
To leave me alone.
Hello, sir.
In the video, Dorley admitting she was speeding.
And you even admitted to me that you went 50. I understand that, man. I understand that.
Even flashing her credentials at one point.
I am the DA.
Okay.
Okay, let me get you my badge. I am the DA of Monroe County.
Now, New York Governor Kathy Hochul has referred Dorley's case to the Commission on Prosecutorial Conduct, saying Dorley has undermined her ability to hold others accountable for violating the law. All 9 members of Rochester's City Council calling for an immediate investigation into Dorley's actions.
I do think that she should resign. I'm not sure she will.
The officer ultimately giving her a ticket.
You know what? If you give me a traffic ticket, that's fine. I'm the one who prosecutes it. Okay? Just go ahead and do it.
Dorley apologizing in a new video, saying she pled guilty to speeding and will undergo ethics training.
So sorry. I hope by my institute.
And again, Dorley went on to say, you heard her say, I've been humbled by my own stupidity, and I am willing to blame state lawmakers, but we are also joining calls to the DA's actions. And there is also a protest that has been scheduled by local community organizations to start at 9.
Yeah.
Well,
I am the DA. I'm the DA.
Oh, and then he said, you're speeding. I don't care, is what she said. I don't care.
I know it.
Oh my goodness. If it was you or I and we had that attitude, they'd cuff us.
I know that. I'm serious. That's exactly right. It's unreal, man. The arrogance of people that are in power.
Exactly. And especially for me, we can talk about the political stuff, yes, but in the legal system, I already have a hard time with lawyers and DAs and police officers and all of that other stuff, because I can do whatever I want because I carry some authority. And then you can go on top of that and you do your politicians and things like that, because real crime happens higher up, the big stuff, the roots of it, yet they go after the low-hanging fruit. And who is anyone above the law? Well, of course, if we go to Torah, no one's above the law. Everyone, young, old, poor, rich, whatever nation, part of the being Hebrew or not Hebrew, you still have the same law. One law for all. Now, I do err on the side of the Torah where it says, you have to have 2 or 3 witnesses, but on that, and then also, according to Torah, every case should be looked at case by case, not, well, this is what we do with this kind, and this is what we do with this kind. Mercy needs to be shown when mercy should be shown, and et cetera, et cetera. But they do have 2 witnesses. They have a camera and the cop himself. That's 2 witnesses, and her own admission, the arrogance that, you know what, I'm above. Do you know who I am? You're trying to mess with me. Do you know who I am? Fine, give me a ticket. I'm the one who prosecutes those. I'll dismiss. She didn't say that, but
I know. It's unreal. Oh, I forgot to get. Anyway, it's unreal. I got pulled over one time, and I'll never forget this. Out on in Tulsa. It's not an interstate, but it's a bypass going around and everything. And I saw this cop in front of me, and I'm driving down the road, and the cop's kind of going a little bit slower than what the speed and everybody else is doing. So I ended up passing the cop. Well, not very much longer after I passed it, the cop pulled me over. And the cop says, you were doing 59 in a 55. And she says, I know, I was doing 56. And I'm going, you just admitted to me
that you're speeding.
that you're speeding, that you're breaking the law. And you have the gall to pull me over at 59 miles per hour. I just couldn't believe it. I was just appalled.
But it's okay because she has a badge, right?
Well, I guess, but I mean, she admitted to breaking the law right in front of me, and I'm going to give you a ticket for breaking the law.
Then I would have loved to have said, "Who's going to give you one?"
Yeah, hand me one of your tickets, will you? Just tear off one.
Wow, that's a really small margin for giving a ticket. That's a lot of effort.
She was pissed because I passed her.
Well, I'm sure. Well,
it really was the same thing as this woman, the arrogance of the fact that I can do it. So I will do it. You pissed me off. See, that's not the enforcement of law enforcement, is because you pissed me off, I'm going to give you a ticket. If give a ticket because of what you did, anyway, sorry.
Yeah.
I'm probably using wrong terminology. They upset me. But it's kind of the same thing. That's when I watch stuff like this woman DA, it just so upsets me.
So do you think she'll end up resigning or being forced to resign?
Probably. I hope so. I think everybody's hoping so.
But it should make others take note and say, hey, you are not above the law. That goes back to what the guys in the prison that we've done prison ministry with, and the guards themselves have. I've said this before. Physical guards have told me that the guards are much more evil and more criminal than any of the criminals inside the institutions, inside the prisons. The guards are worse than the prisoners, is what I've been told from guards.
Wow.
They carry power, so they wield it.
Yeah.
And they're abusive in their language and in what they do. Guards are abusive in general. And I'm not saying there's always exceptions, guys. There's always exceptions, but the rule is generally they're bad. And so, we have physical examples of that from what we've seen in the prisoners we've ministered to, and even our own kids. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's the same with anybody, with any organization that's in authority, like the police department. You have, I want to believe there's more good cops than bad cops. I want to believe that. Of course, then you have the cop alliance and all that kind of stuff. They have to have each other's backs and that kind of thing. But still, I want to believe that. I think this cop that arrested this DA was a good cop. He pursued the whole thing. He followed her all the way to her house, to she wouldn't pull over. He had his lights on and everything all the way to her house. She wouldn't pull over until she got to her house.
Because she thought that it would, if he saw where she lived in that privileged neighborhood of all this, that he just,
yeah.
And then, he's like, you're not above the law because you have money. Of course, in reality, that's not true. If you have money, you are above the law because you don't get prosecuted, and you don't. It goes away. Your crimes go away. So in reality, the legal system does work that way. You have money, you're above the law.
Yeah.
You can do what you want.
Yeah.
All we have to do is all we have to do is think of all the named people that are in power in Washington and have been in power, and we can see that. We can list crimes that are murder all the way down, and they continue to do what they do and continue to do those things as well. Yeah. If you have money, you're above the law. If you have name, you're above the law. Unfortunately, it's a true thing in the United States. And if it's true here, it's probably true elsewhere too.
Yeah, has to be. And there really is no way to control it. It is what it is, and we have the way to control it is to be aware that it is out there, and put yourself in a position where you don't ever have to deal with them. That's the best.
There is another way. It is when Yeshua comes and establishes his law, which we already know it, his Torah, his instruction. You don't do it, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
And if you do, you're blessed. Why? Because there's blessing and curse with his instruction manual, with his Torah, with the word of God. And it's not a republic, which is what the United States is, folks. We are not a democracy. Get over that. Never have been. It's a theocracy. Yah's in charge. So.
Well, let's, and this is an extremely touchy word. And I rarely bring it up because most people just cringe and don't even want to talk about it. Do you consider what you and I are both white? We're just white. We're just white. So are we privileged just because we're white?
If you'd followed me around my whole life, you would say exactly the opposite from the time I was born on. You know what? And we can go off that, and it's gone such a reverse. People are people, and you have messed up people, and no matter what your race is. To me, there's messed up people, and then there's people that aren't messed up, or at least are working on their failures and their flaws. And, throwing race around and sexuality and using that as your excuse to conduct yourself the way you conduct is wrong. It says, do unto others as you would want them to do. It says, pray for and love your enemies. Yes, we're supposed to do that. But it bothers me when you say, well, because of the color of your skin, you are privileged, or because of the color of your skin, you are persecuted. It's not true. Mm-hmm. It's not true. Now, society has beefed that up in the last 10 years since Obama was in office. He's really, it really impacted then, because it was sort of, it wasn't a big issue until and then it was stirred up. It began because they want wars on sexuality. They want wars on races. They want these wars so that the U.S. will splinter, and so that they can declare what they're going to do. They want a civil war where we war against each other, so they can declare martial law and control everybody. But it is exactly the opposite. When you say because of the color of skin, in this case, we're talking Caucasian, then you are privileged. That I know personally I don't think I've ever known a privileged person of that, at least not known well. No, that's not true. I did know one, and they worked hard for it, and they were blessed because of it, and they gave and gave and gave and gave away too. And so I have known that, but most people I know struggle and still struggle. And I don't put it in one specific category. It is generally people are struggling right now, but people that are Caucasian that I know, I don't know any that aren't and haven't struggled their whole life and faced discrimination the other direction, et cetera, et cetera. Where I used to work, it was a well-known fact that if you were a white male, you were the bottom and you would not be promoted unless the whole bunch of stuff happened. White female, it was that you were on the second of the bottom, and then it changed as you went on top. If another candidate was from another race was there, you were not going to get the job. And that was a fact that people even talked about of other races. So, and that's been a long time. So that's been around for years. So yes, has there been problems in the past? Yes, but we are not supposed to be living in the past.
That's right.
Do I hate it that that things have happened? Yes, but we have found people treated wrongly in every country, in every nation, of all the different, for their nationality, for their background, for the color of their skin, and people being persecuted from it. To be an Irish person once was very low. If you were Irish, it was terrible. And they treated people of Irish descent horribly. And to be Jewish, is a horrible thing. To be Hebrew, horrible thing. And we can go down the list, and we'll find, if we look at history and look at culture, oftentimes the people, there's just people in everything that, and help in every race, in every circumstance, that help promote that kind of quote unquote enslavement, persecution, etc., etc. And now around the world, to eradicate anybody with Caucasian skin would make the world happy. And that's messed up. That's messed up, because skin is skin. Yeah. We're all just people. And yeah, people are treated differently for different reasons, but privilege, no. I've never seen it. I would love to see a case of that, but I've never seen it before in my life. Well, and it makes me angry when people say that. And then you're worried and you're scared to even talk about the color of skin, because then somebody's going to, well, you don't know. Well, look what you guys did in our past. Guys, there was wrongdoing in the past. Yeah. But I can get very specific, and let's go on and let's look where the roots of that also were happening in other countries, but they were happening in certain countries themselves by people that looked just like them and us. We've enslaved our own, whatever nationality or race you may be, because of our words and because of our deeds. And most people don't grow up privileged. It is a few that grow up privileged. And when they're privileged, unfortunately, they might sound like that DA that says, well, I'm above the law. What do you think you are? Mm-hmm. But most of us have grown up, most of the populations have grown up facing the same hardship and trials and lack of money to finish the month off, and even discrimination themselves. I can't tell you how many times I have faced discrimination even as a woman.
Sure.
Especially in this field. Sure. I have faced much discrimination as a woman. So what? It makes me stronger. Get over it. Come on. Sure. You know, God's still going to open and close doors. Our big thing is, are we serving him or not? Because when we are gathered together, it's going to be a speckled population, because skin is just dirt. It's just different colors of dirt. It has it's nothing beyond that. So now, whatever, if you're white, red, olive color, whatever you generalize yourself as, it's your skin color is just dirt, and all dirt. Their dirt is different colors, and it's all just the same thing. We will return to the dust, but what the word does call for us to do is to love one another, to love those who hate us and persecute us, to trust in him. And you're my brother and you're my sister. Now, I'm still going to hang around like mine, meaning I don't care what color your skin is, but I do care where your heart is. Mm-hmm. Sure. But even if your heart's not like mine and it's not bent towards Yeshua, towards Jesus, for some, I'm still going to love you the best the best I know how. And love also means I will speak truth. And when it's right, and through discernment. But this white privilege that I hear creeping in all over the place, so that it's just a common thing, it's wrong. And it's just as wrong. It's just as wrong as things that it's just as wrong as things that are said. If we said certain things, we would immediately be nailed for it. But it's no different than what is casually said by other people about Christians, about Jews, about whites, about black. I mean, if certain people say certain things, it's acceptable. If other people say it, they're going to nail you to the wall for it. And it's just messed up. But our society and our world's messed up. And, what we have to do is make sure we're right. We have to use that plumb line and make ourselves right, because we're not going to cause anybody else to be right. We do the right thing and we make ourselves right, and we respond correctly, and we get on our knees and we speak truth when it needs to be spoken, and live it out. And that's what we're supposed to do. And the rest, is the world messed up? Yeah. Are they going to be redeemed from that? Not unless they choose to be. And so much of scripture is spoken to those that are in his kingdom, that's to straighten their lives up, because the enemy's going to act like the enemy. The world's going to act like the world, period. But there should be a different expectation if you claim Jesus or Yeshua or Yahweh, meaning even the people that are Jewish that don't believe in Yeshua, they still serve the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And therefore, there's still a list of how Yah wants us to act and treat one another.
That's right.
And so that's the categories. You're in or you're out. Like mind, like kind. That means, do you follow Yeshua? Do you follow Jesus? Do you try to follow his word? That's what matters to me.
Mm-hmm.
And the rest of it, who cares?
Well said, Sandi. Sounds like you had it all in you and didn't know you had it there. So,
well, I still tried to be careful, and
I'm with you. I know.
Hey, Michael, I've missed you at church. Michael just tuned in with us, Vault 25.
Good,
so,
good. In my opinion, it's all perceived. It's perceived privilege from both sides. I mean, like the DA woman we watched earlier, it's her perceived privilege that she could do and act and drive the way she wants. That's her perceived privilege from her side. From the other side, it's people that have been abused in different ways that view the person that abused them. They see it as that person is privileged and I'm not, in their eyes. Once again, it's a perceived privilege.
Okay.
Power. Privilege is power. So
well,
it's the same thing we started with.
But there's
the power grab.
But there's an actual privilege and then there's not. Now, here's something that I have a problem with. And if we would all stop doing this, stop carrying around your brother's offense.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
If we would stop carrying around, oh, well, so-and-so was persecuted, so I'm angry. Well, guess what? First off, if you're sitting there and you're angry with somebody else, how they were treated or done, whether it was yesterday or whether it was 100 years ago, or 300 years ago, etc. First off, that's a sin, because we're not supposed to carry around offense. We're not supposed to lashon hara, which means, well, you know what they did back then. Well, you know, and so we're breaking the word on that, because we want to be offended. We want to be a class of people that are offended because Group A did not get red lollipops; they got yellow, and Group B got blue. Right. Whatever it is, we want to group together, talk, and get offended at us as another group or another person, and carry that with us and just be angry. And that's a sin. Just like carrying around offense is a sin. Not forgiving is a sin. In fact, not forgiveness, folks. And if you say, well, I forgive him, but they did that. No, then you are carrying around something. And it says, if you refuse to forgive, then Yahweh, God Almighty, will not forgive you. Guess what that means? You're separated from him forever. He says, on that day, many will come to me and say, well, I did this and this. And he say, depart from me, for I never knew you. Why? That's one of the reasons among many, because we all like to be offended. We want to carry around our brother or sister's perceived persecution, and whether it's from, like I said, from in church or in our job, or all the way back from the people that have gone way before us from a long time ago. And it messes us up because we carry it around as a badge and a reason that get out of jail. So not literally jail, but I can do whatever I want card because of so-and-so. Guess what? That's messed up. And bottom line, it's leading you straight to hell. And here's the next thing. When you walk around and you carry around and you're offended by your brother's stuff because of race or whatever it may be, then you are opening up yourself to other demonic stuff to take over and continue to influence everything you do. And you cannot see things clearly. You cannot see the truth because you're seeing the truth of the enemy, and you invited it in, and you say, come in and have a house in me. So folks, and I'm speaking to the congregations as well. Stop being offended by other people's stuff. You work on you, and you pray for your brother, but you don't use that as an excuse to talk about him. You But you don't, if they're being persecuted, you pray for them, but you don't carry around and say, well, I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that. I'm siding with you. No, we're not supposed to even be listeners, partakers of Lashon Hora, which is gossip, which is speaking about other people, good or bad. Shut your mouth.
That's right.
Okay, that's another passionate thing. Sorry.
Are you finished yet?
No, I could go on and on for the next 2 hours.
Just giving you a hard time. I agree with every word you said, every word. And yeah, a lot of that, I think probably most of it comes up from that their understanding of what is privileged or racist or all of those things. I mean, to me, I think people need to realize that, especially the way I look at it is that I'm not a racist, even though I see, let's just take black people and me, and I see black people. We can't not see a black person, but it doesn't mean that I'm going to act different to that person because that person is just a human. As a matter of fact, I have it in my head because one time I heard that Adam and Eve must have been black because black skin has all the colors of all the different people in it. And that they started and they were the Adam and Eve and everybody came from them. And that's how it got divvied up into different colored skin of everybody. And when I see a black person, I actually kind of think of that. I actually kind of think in a very positive way, that, your skin is special. It's not better, worse, or anything different than me. And if I meet you, like let's just say Juanita Weiss, who is the wife of David Weiss. She does a show with David on Thursdays, and David does a show with me on Fridays. And when I look at her, I think of Juanita.
You think of a person.
And she's just a person, and that way. Yet I notice. Okay. And when somebody says something, like a black person says something that is derogatory against white people, or is said in a way that is, I don't know what the word is. I'll give you an example. One thing that we've noticed on TV shows and not so much movies, but TV shows, is that you'll have a black person on there. And don't get me wrong, I'm not being racist or anything. I just notice these things, that they can say stuff like, and I can't think of examples, but they can say stuff like, there should have been a black person there instead of whoever it is. That guy should have been a black person or something. Well, if a white person had said that about a black person, we'd be arrested. But it's completely acceptable, because you don't want to cause problems, that they can say whatever they want against white people or in kind of that direction, and we just have to accept it. I think that's wrong. I think you can't distinguish between the two in that way.
Well,
I think it's wrong. I just do.
Agreed. I mean,
and it's not because I'm racist. It's because I notice that you do it. And I notice that there are things that I can't do because of all the problems that have arisen in the past.
I just can't wait till the day where people are just people.
Yeah, I agree.
And people just see people as a person. I honestly, I don't really pay that much attention unless something's thrown in my face, and then I
Well,
notice. I mean, and then I'm like, oh, okay. But and that doesn't happen very often, and had not at least not in our congregation or around Amarillo
sure,
and stuff. But
sure.
you know,
Well, I mean, to me, it's the same things going on with the Israeli-Gaza war. It's the same thing. It's perceived sides is what it is. But you and I know what the real reason is, and it's only been going on since
forever.
Abraham. So, it's what everybody else wants to forget. I heard a guy actually mention that the other day in a newscast, that he actually said the Abrahamic war that's been going on. I mean, he literally said it that way. I mean, I wouldn't say it that way, but I know what he was talking about. And it's so, like, I'm sure you've heard of the Columbia University protest that's been going on. Well,
I don't hear any news unless John tells me.
So. Okay. Well, there has for a couple of weeks now in different colleges across the United States has been protests by Palestinians against or people that not Palestinian people in the U.S. that are pro Hamas, okay, or pro Gaza or whatever, and they're going into the college campuses or other places and protesting, the war in Gaza.
They're paid, by the way.
Yes. Now that's what it comes down to. Columbia has been the most on the news, and a couple of nights ago, the police and a whole bunch of other organizations all went in and got them out, brought them all out, and they're talking literally. There is an organization that teaches people how to protest. And then they pay these people to go in and infiltrate inside, like on a college campus. If you want to protest, you have to be a part of the college. You have to be one of the students. You can't bring in outside people because it's a private institution. And when you start bringing in outside people, now you're trespassing. And even though you're protesting, you can't come onto the campus and do that. But that's what has been happening, is these professional protesters. And I'm saying those professional protesters are actually Hamas. Where's my picture? I had a picture here a while ago that, doggone it. It's over here. Hold up. This is... where did I put it? This is how many protests, and I'm showing this for one reason. These are the different protests against the Gaza war that's been going on in the United States for the past 2 weeks. Now, my deal is the infiltration of the United States by Hamas and other people, Hamas and Gaza people and Hezbollah and Iran and the Houthis or whatever their name is and all that kind of stuff. To me, this picture shows that they're already infiltrated. We already know they have, but it's just like a map of infiltration of when they're ready to take over. Hey, look at this map. Look there. That's just a fraction of what it is. And that's my opinion, that, it's all done. And you're going to love this, Sandy, because I'm going to mention your favorite person. Biden is signing a bill allowing Gaza refugees to come to the United States to bring mass amounts of Gaza refugees into the United States.
So stupid.
It's not only this, it's like quadruple that, tenfold that.
So they want to import the same trouble
Yeah.
that's happening between Israel and Israel and that area, the Gaza Strip. They want to import that so that we can have that very thing right here.
Right.
Again, we all of this boils down to we fight not against flesh and blood, but against powers, principalities, and rulers in high places. And so these people that are enemies, we need to be on our knees, folks, because the battle really is in the heavenlies and it's physically manifesting here. Absolutely. And people are on teams here. Absolutely. But I want to tell you a secret. If anybody's tuning in, God wins. Yahweh, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, wins. Period. Yeshua. Yeah.
That's right.
You don't have a chance.
That's right.
Because truth is truth.
That's right.
I'll just put that on one of my excerpts. God wins.
That's right. I love it. All right. Well, I think we're done with all that. we spoke our mind. So you got a little something you want to add here for second, third? You've been saving it for 3 or 4 weeks now.
No.
No, you don't want to do it?
I can always talk. I can talk and talk and talk. Like you said, we can pick it to subject and just talk.
Yeah, I'm good. If you don't want to do that, that's fine.
No, the second, third's fine. I don't care. Either way. Anyway, yes.
Yes.
I'll do whatever you say. You're the boss, man.
Well, that's kind of what I planned on for this.
Okay, then let's do it.
All right, here we go. Hello, play. It's not play.
We'll be dancing in the streets, dancing at his feet, dancing in the streets of gold. We'll be dancing in the streets, dancing at his feet.
Scripture. Let's just start with it. When I am afraid, I will trust in you. In Yah, whose word I praise. In Yah I trust. I will not be afraid. What can mortal man do to me? Fear. Yeah, we're talking about fear. Even with what we just spoke of, there's fear even to say the wrong thing because the fear of retribution, fear of the unknown, fear of what's going to happen because we live in a messed up world. But are we God's? Are we the world's? Well, we got to choose which side we're on for sure. One thing that the word always tells us, it tells us the facts, the truth, life as it is. All over the word, we see the weaknesses of our forefathers. We see the weaknesses and the witnesses, as well as the triumphs of people throughout the word. And there's both. So even David says, you know what? I've messed up, but I ask for forgiveness. He does that. But he also says, I'll never be afraid. What does he say that? No, absolutely not. He says, basically, when I am afraid, I will trust in you. So fear is something that can happen, but what do we do with it? For Yah didn't give us a spirit of fear, but a power of love and of sound mind. Yeah, we understand that. But do we truly trust in him in all things? Because his word and his promises are true. In our spiritual life, there's often a conflict between the idea of fear or no fear, or just conflict within us over the scripture, over truth, over what Yah said. In our emotions, we go through all of the feelings of fear, maybe, and panic, and it maybe at times it even seems to grip us and sort of control us, though it's not supposed to. But there's another area of being the spirit that we should never let yield to fear. Our spirit should not be dictated. It cannot be dictated by those emotions, or should not be, which is in control of us, our flesh, our nefesh, or Yah, our spirit. Which is it? Are we moved by the spirit? Are we moved by our flesh? Well, unfortunately, most of us, most of the time, are moved by our flesh, at least for a while. And then we might get a grip on things and realize the word and start speaking the word over our life. But our spirit says, I'm not going to accept emotion about this situation, about this circumstance, about this threat, but I'm going to turn to Yah and Yah alone, because he is the answer. And greater is he who is in us than he who is in the world, right? And Yah says, hey, my promises are for you and I'll meet your needs, but you need to listen and you need to stand upon my word. You need to follow it. You need to walk out these instructions. So in the emotions, you may feel fear, but your spirit, you should trust. And what do? You trust and you do what you're supposed to do. Trust brings you to a place of security and peace, shalom. And there's a confidence when we trust in him. Well, let's go. What about when it says, even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you're with me. Psalm 23:4. Well, I've done a whole series on that, and specifically on that verse. So you need to go listen to that. But that means that you still walk because you're walking through the valley. That place, that narrow place, that hard place, that it's hard to, one single line can only go through when you're driving the sheep there. Well, you may go through it, but you trust in him. So I want us to go back now and look at our bodies and look at what happens to us physically when we do fear, because fear can actually interrupt processes in our brains that allow us to regulate our emotion. Yeah, it messes that up. We can't even read verbal cues anymore or clues for that information, for that either. So it impacts the way we think, it impacts the way we make decisions, and it does so in negative ways. And it leaves us susceptible to being moved by intense emotion and to be impulsive. Yeah, we might be super impulsive because of fear. And then we weren't even thinking clearly because of fear. So fear can mess you up. What is controlling you? Is fear controlling you? Do you always worry? Do you always fret? Are you always concerned? What if, what if, what if? Then fear has gripped you and controlled you, and you're not even thinking clearly. So it makes you foggy. Fear can make you foggy. And it actually physically shuts down certain areas of your brain. And the amygdala senses fear. That's the cerebral cortex, that area of your brain that harnesses reasoning and judgment. Well, is it important to have reasoning and judgment in this? Yes, absolutely. But fear impacts that area of your brain. So now you can't even make good decisions or think clearly. So if you're making a decision based in fear or because of fear, you need to stop. You need to get on your knees and you need to say, what do you say about this, Yah? And then physically, you need to speak that word over the circumstance, because as you speak the word, your heart and your mind will change. And all of a sudden, the fog will be moved when you give it to Yah and you say, hey, show me the way. Fear actually impacts development. Children that have had chronic or intense fear and those kind of experience, they lose the capacity to differentiate between safety and threat. So everything looks, even though it's a safe place, to them it looks like a perceived threat. And so it affects the way they interact with others and even in their social circumstances, because it's full of fear for them. Fear. And what effect does fear have on a person more? Well, physically, it can cause migraines and muscle aches, which can turn into fibromyalgia and chronic pain, even difficulty breathing, and asthma can be the result. That's from a study by Moeller, and it affects our memory. Fear and stress affect our ability to learn. They affect our memory and all sorts of parts of our brain. Memory of fearful events is more robust usually than those things that are good. We remember the times we feared because of the stress related hormones. So fear literally colors the way we see, it colors the way we hear, and it messes with our mind and our body because they're interconnected. So even the way we act and react are completely shaded and clouded and fogged up, so to fogged, fogged up because of fear, because there's like a veil and we can't see clearly. Fear is the root cause of a lot of physiological problems. Even there's roots of it in heart disease and high blood pressure and depression and other things. Unchecked, ultimately, fear can kill you. Are we moved by fear? I think a lot of us are. Most of our negative emotions come through fearful thoughts, anger, even frustration, rage, because we're fearful. Then we get angry over mistreatment and what's it coming our way, etc. On a spiritual level, fear and worry cause people even to question Yah and Yah's love, to doubt his promises and what he said in his word. And we should not doubt Yah. Yah's word does not return void. He is a Yah that does not lie. But the enemy knows, the devil knows, the enemy knows that causing people to walk in fear, it makes them unsettled and off balance, and he can grip and hold them in that place of captivity, hold them in the place of change, which can further create all sorts of sickness and manipulation and deception. So what do people do because of that? Well, people play on those fears. Just look at your commercials. Look at the media. Hey, if you don't have this, then this is going to happen. You need this for this. Well, if you don't do this, then the world's coming apart. Your life's coming apart. You won't have things the way they should be. Let's look at politicians. Politicians are going to sell you on fear every time. You better vote for me because of this and this. In fact, unfortunately, people vote their pocketbook because of fear, and you should never, 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 never vote your pocketbook. You vote truth. You vote his word if you call yourself a believer. But political groups, advertisers, you name it, dictators, you pretty much go in any walk, and fear is a way that people that have power will manipulate you into doing what they want you to do what they want you to do because of fear. And because we take it and we take hold of it and we make it our own. Why do we do that? Why? Well, the word again says, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. I will fear no evil, for you are with me. So is anybody going to escape the possibility of walking in fear? No. Well, you shouldn't be walking in fear, but experiencing fear at one moment or another? No, because it's common to all of us, but it's what we do with it is important. What we do in the face of fear. If we didn't know fear, then how would there be courage? How would there be bravery? How would we even know those things? You do it in the face of fear. You do it because the word says to. It says that fear is the beginning of all wisdom. Now that's Yah. That's the fear of Yah, the reverence of Yah. And boy, should we have that. But we don't even have that. We fear man and we don't fear Yah. Think about that. We fear what men can do to us, but we do not fear the King of Kings, our Creator, the Sovereign One. We don't fear him at all. And so we go about and we treat things as common. Yet when man comes around and they threaten, instead of following the word, we take what they say, we take it and we make it our own. And we walk around with worry and fret and panic, all because of men instead of trusting in him. So if you're walking around in fear and you say you trust Yah, I dare say you need to double check yourself, because it's probably not true. Because if we fear him, then we trust him. We trust him, period. We don't walk out of our emotion. Though we may feel it, we take our thoughts captive. We speak the word because the word is true. And it is the formula. It is the answer for everything. But do we take that as that? 2 Chronicles 20:17 says, you shall not need to fight this battle. Take your position, stand still, and see the deliverance of the Lord, who is with you, O Judah and Jerusalem. Fear not, nor be dismayed. Tomorrow, go out against them, for Yah is with you. And he's with you. Fear not, for he is with you. He's called you by name. You are his. So when fear comes and the battles come, the battle looms before us, fear not, for he is with you. No one escapes problems. No one escapes challenges, period. It just doesn't happen. But we trust in him. The battle is not ours. We don't have to fight the way we think we fight. For our flesh, and we're warring against not flesh and blood, but against principalities, rulers, and et cetera, in high places. That's where the war is. So we do it on our knees. But here's the next thing. I talked about this before many times. Our position is standing, armored up, ready to go. And we stand. And then what do? We worship. We proclaim his word. We do what he tells us to do. But we be not moved. We cannot be moved. What's your position? Where are you at right now in the midst of your circumstance? Are you standing? Are you armored up? Are you ready to go, proclaiming his word, worshiping him along the way, calling things that are not as though they are? Well, then you need to switch your position. And you need to take your thoughts captive, and you need to start speaking his truth and not man's truth. Because man, if you trust in man, man will kill you, because man is led like a hook by the enemy generally. And the enemy comes to steal, kill, and destroy. But Yah comes that you might have life, and that more abundantly. So who are we going to follow? Remember the things of old. Fear not, for he is with us. Fear not. What was Joshua told? Fear not. Over and over in the word, we hear fear not. What is your position in Yah? What's driving you? Do you see clearly now? Because fear has driven you in so many different directions. Fear is what's guided you on your finances. Fear is what's guided you in your job. Fear is what's guided you with your family. Fear is what has been guiding you on almost every decision you make. Or do you let the word, his truth, scripture, guide you, which is him, Yeshua? Be really honest with yourself. I have to, because I can tell you, worry and fret are not what they used to be in my life, but they used to have a major place in my life. And everything was what if, but that's not Yah. Yeah, fear may come, but you deal with it. You do it afraid, and you trust in him in all things, and you take up your sword. You take up the weapons that he's given you to fight. And then you stand, because he is your shield and buckler, and he goes before you, and he makes a way. But you need to follow his word. You need to trust in him. Don't leave gaps for the enemy to come in. And you're leaving gaps if you're not following his word. So repent. Say, Father, I messed up here, but I need you right now. I don't want to walk that way anymore. I want to walk this life out as a true believer in the King of Kings and Lord of Lords, in Yahweh Elohim and God Almighty. So let's remove fear from our lives. Let's no longer let it have that physical effect on us, so that we can see clearly and follow God's ways, Yah's ways. Mark.
I can see clearly now.
The rest of that's playing out in my head.
Yeah, of course it is. I was trying to figure out different words to put in there, but they didn't come. So, yeah, my thought on, there's so many different, of course, you covered a lot of different bases. And I think of, scary movies, horror movies, that type of thing. Now, I like a good thriller. I like movies that have a twist to it, and, it progresses and it moves and everything. But I've never been a fan of a horror movie or a scary movie or anything like that. As a matter of fact, most of them are just so poorly made that they're not even worth watching without the horror in the movie.
Well, I don't believe anybody should ever watch horror, period.
Oh, I agree. It embeds that stuff in, just like exactly what you were just talking about. And it's interesting because you go to the different movie places, and especially, like, I used to get my movies from Redbox, but they've completely switched around. But you go look at their list of movies, and it's like, it's more, scattered little really good movies, positive movies, but the majority of it's just all horror movies. It's all scary movies, and it's got pictures on the front that you don't even want to look at the front of the cover of that movie and that type of thing. Why? Because it's a huge seller. It's one of the biggest genres of receiving money from movies, and they're all, none of them are any good. None of them have any redeeming value to them or anything like that. But that's what people are seeking. And I know, because I get caught up sometimes in wanting, I enjoy entertainment. I enjoy different genres of things to watch and do with entertainment. But that's, to me, you have to have a frame of mind to want to seek after fear for your entertainment.
Well, what do you think's driving that? It's the stuff that's been allowed into their lives, the demonic stuff that they've allowed in, seeks and yearns for that stuff, and you think it's you, and it is you. You started it.
You brought it in.
You brought it in, and here's the next thing. Most of that stuff is full of the occult and demonic and all of that. And Yah specifically says, do not get near that stuff.
Yep.
He says he utterly abhors anything with the occult.
Right.
And yet that's what we do.
Yeah, and but it's crazy because they well, I mean, you covered it. It's they do seek after it once they've had it in there. I mean, for instance, with me and my wife, we cover ourselves if we run across something that appears to be that way. We don't go after it because we've seen snippets of it before, and we know we don't want that in our minds, and we don't even want to have to remember it. A lot of those things, it's amazing how you can see 20 seconds of something like a trailer to a movie that it looks like the movie might be good, but you go watch the trailer and within 10 seconds you're already watching the occult stuff, and it's like they get you that way sometimes too. They slip it in there making you think it's one way, but that's a whole nother story within itself. But yeah, it's just amazing to me that we can actually say that people pursue fear to entertain themselves, and then once they have that in their lives, what's the rest of their life like? Because it's like sin begets sin. I can't begin to tell you how many times my wife and I will look at each other and say, sin begets sin. We notice somebody done something that layers upon something else they did, and to cover whatever sin that you've committed, you have to commit other sins to cover that so that you don't get caught for that sin. And God knows them all. It doesn't make any difference. It's just like people have just literally forgot that they're in the presence of God, and to sit down and I have to do this all the time. Is if I'm watching a movie or a show or something, I bring it to the understanding, I'm in the presence of God right now. And if I'm going to watch something, then I have to know that. And that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm aware of. And so, yes, my range of acceptability is a little different than others, but that's between me and God. So anyway, fear is just each one of us have to deal with it. I think once your confidence level with the Lord, it reaches to a certain point, that fear has nothing to do with us. We don't seek after it. We don't. Life is life, Sandy. Life's going to happen. Things are going to happen. And we have to prepare for things that are going to happen. We don't have to fear for it. We have to prepare for it. And I find myself when I'm prepared for something, if I have something together and I'm ready to go with it, I don't have any fear about what's coming up. But if I'm being caused to walk into something that I have no idea in the world what's going to happen, then I have a little fear there. I have a little anxiety, that type of thing. I don't know what's going to happen, but if I'm prepared, then, and I think it's the same like for Sabbath. That's why we prepare for Sabbath. so we don't violate God, and who we are with God and that type of thing. So, I think preparedness has a lot to do with it, knowing what you're going into, no matter what it is that you're facing, is to try to understand that rather than to fear it. It doesn't always happen, can't always happen. Life's life, it is what it is. So there you go. There you go. There you go. All right.
Don't fear.
Don't fear. That's your final word.
Don't act on fear. Trust in Yah.
That's your final word.
I don't know what my final word is. So.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, let's go on to third. Always good, Sandi. Always good.
Thank you.
Always. Here we go.
We'll be dancing in the streets, dancing at his feet, dancing in the streets of gold. We'll be dancing in the streets, dancing at his feet.
Okay.
What's up? Toy? That's no toy. That. Let me see. That. I gotta figure. That is a kraken. What?
Scratch its back. Try to do that.
Do that.
Scratch its back.
Scratch the kraken.
There you go.
No, but you see, that isn't the only one. See, you're actually kind of missing the whole deal here, because you can't see the whole thing. There's actually a kraken alligator in. See, so I'm gonna get Sandi going. And there's a kraken turtle. See, you got yourself one kraken turtle.
One big turtle comparatively.
Yeah, this is your. That's because they're kraken turtles.
Oh.
Okay. See there now. Then you got the rubber kraken crustacean there. So we're it's about as unkosher as you can get this morning. But I looked it up. There are no kosher krakens. So there are none.
Shock.
I mean, they're not even mentioned in the Bible at all that you can eat a kraken. So,
Oh, wow. That's so funny.
Yep, I'm getting my part 2 interview with from Our House to Yours is this afternoon, so I kind of got a bunch of stuff prepared for that, and that's gonna be one of them I'll play. So Sunday night I'll be on From Our House to Yours again, part 2. But here I got another one. This one's the one I like because our hair looks the same. I had got up that morning and washed my hair, but I didn't comb it out. I just frizzed it all out so that I would look like this.
Sister Sandi, actually, I want to let everybody know Sandi and I have a brother by the name of Larry. This is so hard. It's just those headphones are so hot when my hair is down like this. Sandi and I have a brother named Larry, and when he introduces us, he says, "Hi, I'm Larry. This is my sister Sandi and my other brother Sandi." So, and Sandi, John, I hope you don't mind, but I wrote your wife a song.
You did?
Is it okay?
I would love to hear that song. I might have to use it on her later.
Okay. Are you ready? And by the way, everybody realize this is December 20th. So, I've got now that may look like a Christmas tree to you, but that's not. It's just a green spade. Like, if you were playing cards or something, that's all that is. And so here's the song, and it goes like, Here comes Sandi Craig, here comes Sandi Craig, right down Sandi Craig Lane. All her cats and all her raccoons are eating her candy canes. Bells are ringing, children singing, all is merry and gay. Join us right now on Planet Cuz. Sandi Craig is here today.
Yeah.
No, I'm not done. Here's second verse.
Second verse.
Second verse, same as the first. No.
Oh man, we had
Those
some fun
memories.
back in those days.
We did. That's so funny. And even with the Kraken thing, every time I think of Kraken, of course, I think of you. And then I think I have those very toys of Jonathan's that now are Amariah's in the room back there. So
Uh-huh.
not the turtle, but the alligator and the octopus. And I don't have a lobster either. I have the alligator and lobster and octopus though. Yeah.
Kraken.
The
That's what
Krakens.
they're Krakens.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What
All
great
right.
memories.
That was fun stuff. Oh my gosh, I got so many things I'm going to show.
I like it that you said you had to you didn't you did your hair a certain way basically so it looked frizzy like mine.
Yeah, frizzy like yours. Yeah,
Which is bad because my hair's not supposed to be frizzy. But
no, it wasn't frizzy. It was just full and curly,
okay.
and when my hair's long like that, it kind of looks like. See, yours is straight today, but usually you got all the waves and everything in there. So.
It's easier to comb straight. That's all I can say. But it's not naturally like that. It's naturally the other way. So
there you go. All right. Well, I got another little something we can play with here. Your husband loves to do headline news and shower thoughts and things like that. So, but I ran on to this. I think it's this one. I think pretty sure it's that one right there. So anyway, and I'm sure you've seen these, and some of they're like. Let me open this up real quick. There we go. They are the they're funny signs, and you can find more of these. I only took a few out of this wackojacko.com. So we're going to do their signs that they put out front. I thought some of these were really good, but a lot of them I think were around COVID time, 2020 time. So first one, cheers to strong women. May we know them, may we be them, may we raise them. That's good. I thought of you when I saw that one. Strong women.
Thank you.
Then we have, when COVID finally ends, you'll either be a monk, a hunk, a drunk, or a chunk. Yeah, we went through a lot. Not yet, not yet, not yet, not yet. Eat me now. Too late. Avocados. I know. That's one you have to think of. You have to go back and read it next time and think about it. But that's exactly right. I just ate an avocado the other day that had absolutely no flavor and was horrible.
Avocados are good brain food. I ate one yesterday, and then I ate some the day before. I made some guacamole. So
yeah, we keep them the best we can, but it's a hit and miss whether or not it's going to be any good or not half the time with us. You know what way I like it? Slice it in half, cup out the avocado in a dish, and pour salsa on it. Oh my gosh, that is by far one of my favorite snacks there is. So you got that little avocado in the dish, and of course you got the little divot there where the seed was, and you just pour some. Oh my gosh, there's nothing like it in the world. So that's my recipe for today. We got to start bringing recipes, Sandy. What do you think?
Well, I got some of those.
Okay. Pretty wild that we used to eat cake after someone had blown on it.
I've thought of that before.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of
all
a
over
big,
the cake, and then we eat it. Yeah.
kind of a big deal anymore. Everybody.
Yeah, but we need to get over it. It just makes us stronger.
Yeah, I'm with you. It depends on whether or not you have a 6-year-old that's going to spit all over it or not. So,
But aren't they the ones that are usually blowing out the candles?
yeah, that's right. When they blow them out, they spit all over it. So.
Yeah.
All right. Did it bother anyone else? This is my favorite. Did it bother anybody else that the guy from the Operation game was clearly older?
Oh, that's funny.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I have seen that before, but it makes me smile.
I have it, and that's pretty funny. I'm just thinking it. Yeah.
It is. I agree. So funny. All right. Walking back to your car because you forgot your mask is a new kind of pissed off. Of course, we hardly ever wore a mask, so, and I know you guys didn't either, so we wouldn't know anything about that, but I have seen this. My favorite thing was to watch people drive around. They're alone in their car driving with a mask on. That was always my favorite thing to see. That would cause a belly laugh so much I'd miss my light or something trying to laugh at people, or people standing at a gas pump with a mask on, by themselves. They're pumping up their car, and nobody with 100 feet of them, nothing, So, oh, those days are gone, never to return, Sandy. Okay. Dear taco trucks, please consider cruising the neighborhoods like ice cream trucks. That would be good.
I'm surprised a restaurant would say.
Yeah, I know. I thought about that too. Yep.
Okay.
And then ran out of coffee this AM, so I used tequila. Everyone is so pretty today.
So pretty.
That's another one caught my eye. This website has a lot more than this. If you want to go check that website out. You're on mute. Most used phrase of 2020.
Oh. Yeah, we use that here too. So yeah.
A lot. Yep. Been there, done that. Sorry I'm late. I got here as soon as I wanted to.
Isn't that the truth?
It fits in with our first segment today. People being arrogant. All right. So I never imagined I'd go up to the bank teller with a mask on and ask for money. Yeah, a lot of things we didn't imagine we'd ever do that we did during 2020.
That's right.
Didn't do. My gosh. Wow. Anyway, the fastest land mammal is a toddler who's been asked what's in their mouth.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not just toddlers. Yeah, you would know that. You have to deal with that on a daily basis. She's not a toddler anymore, but the new one coming up won't be long.
No, time goes so fast.
It does. It does. Is it growing? The new one growing good?
He's so tiny, but she actually, I got to see her yesterday for a couple minutes, and she actually focused on me for a couple minutes, and
cool.
She's a month. No, she'll be a month old tomorrow. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Oh my gosh. Time goes by so fast. Unreal. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Still can't believe some people's survival instincts told them to grab toilet paper. I laugh, but I also understand.
Oh, I would understand because of my husband for sure. So.
Do you guys use the same brand of toilet paper, both of you, or do you?
Yeah, but John will carry his wherever he carries toilet paper to Sukkot.
Yeah.
He'll carry it on when he has to spend overnight at a hotel. He'll carry his toilet paper with him. So sorry, everybody. Too much information, but yeah.
No. My wife and I use 2 different toilet papers. So I'm sure that's not something she wanted me to share, but I've done it now. So.
We use the same. He's very particular. He only wants that.
There you go. Hey, same thing here. All right, next one. Fave way to online shop. I just yell out what I want and wait for an ad to pop up.
Isn't that true? Isn't that
100%.
true?
Unbelievable. These things, yeah. There's not even any discussing. Everybody knows this one.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. What if nobody was president and we all promised real hard to just be cool? That's my favorite one right there.
Well, most people just aren't cool.
Don't try to reason it out, Sandy. It's not reasonable in the very least, but it's a fun little thing there. It's like, okay, no president whatsoever at all. Just everybody live and everybody own 42 guns, and we'll all just shoot it out and see who's left. That's what we need to do. All right. So, well, that's all I got. Whoa, we're almost done.
Yep, we are.
Find a way to fill it in and do what's so what's our next topic? Because I'm done. That's all I got. Sure.
I think any other topic is going to take more than 4 minutes.
Yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm. Well,
let me see if I have a headline. I have some my headlines up here. Let me see. Okay. There was one I don't think I've done this one before. I usually color them to know. Okay. Did I talk about being more honest in the morning? I did, didn't I? Or did I?
Being more honest in the morning?
Yeah.
If you did, I don't really. It kind of sounds familiar.
Okay, then let me do a different one. Okay. Let's see. I know I'm sitting here. I need to do better. Something you didn't know yesterday. An attosecond is 1/1000th of a billionth of a second.
A what?
Atto, A-T-T-O, second. Attosecond. I didn't know there was such a thing. Who measures 1/10000000th?
Yeah.
How did you even do that?
Yeah, and why?
And here, this one affects you, Mark. Report found that people living in the Western United States are happier and healthier.
Okay.
Turns out
I'm in the East, right?
Oh. But you're in the East right now.
Yeah.
I'm in the middle.
Yeah.
But it says
you're melancholy then. I'm not happy. You're melancholy, and the people over on the West Coast are happy.
I don't know about that, but
that's what it sounds to me.
That's what it sounds like on this. It says news attack. A report found that people living in the Western U.S. are happier and healthier. Huh.
Oh, my hair got all messed up. Never mind. I keep a comb handy because my hair goes wherever it wants to go. Yeah, it's this nice little mohawk happening up here.
Yeah.
So, don't you love long hair?
Yes and no. Yes.
Yeah, same with me. So.
I have one more that since we're talking about privilege, it says a report says there were just under 30 million millionaires in the United States in 2023, and none of them tip.
And none of them what?
Tip.
Yep.
Haven't you heard from servers that sometimes the people that are better off give the smallest tips? I've heard that before.
Yeah.
From people that work in the industry, but it does say there are 30 million. And here's the problem: is that $1 million doesn't go. It's not that much anymore in comparative to what everything is. So you really need to be more than To have $1 million is great, and I would love that. But it doesn't mean that you don't have to work the rest of your life, et cetera, et cetera. It means you still got to keep going. So
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah. I don't know. I think I could easily make it to the end with $1 million.
$1 million?
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
if you had $1 million, though, remember the government's going to take
Yeah,
$500,000 of
I
it.
get it. I know. You remember the show Deal or No Deal with Howie Mandel?
I knew the name. I never watched it. But
Well, they had like 30 cases, 30 briefcases all spread out, and you got to pick one of them, and then you don't get to see in it, but you have to pick all the other briefcases and hope your briefcase has a whole bunch of money in it, like $1 million. Okay. Now they have a new one called Deal or No Deal Island. And halfway through this, they're already up to like 4.8 million.
wow.
And one person at the end of this show, this reality show, wins whatever's in the account. Right now, they're like 4.8 million. See, it's just like even the game shows are like just unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. All right. We're down to 56, so we're going to have to say goodbye and know that everything is okay. Everything is okay. You know, we're going to make it through this. And Sandi and I made it through another hour and a half. And I sure enjoy our hour and a half of sitting around talking.
Well, that's how we get to talk, right?
That's right. That's the time during the week we set apart to do this. So
that's right.
And we'll have a new outro next time, not this week, but next time, that will help everybody know that if you missed today's show, or you want to watch it again, or you want to tell somebody about it, go to lambnetwork.tv. I think it's right there, lambnetwork.tv, and go to the on-demand section, and there you are. So, all right, everybody. Sandi says,
Shalom.
Shalom, everybody. And we'll see you next week, I hope. All right. Bye-bye.
We are richly blessed to bring you what we believe is the fullest, most diverse, yet up-to-date progressive teachings, discussion, and prayer programming you can find anywhere on this planet. Be sure to take the tour of the MessianicLambRadio.com website. I'm Susan Hoogie, thanking you for joining us on the Messianic Lamb Video Network.